Hey y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode number 284. My name is Jason Robertson. I am the owner of Outdoor Legacy, and I'm also your co-host here on the Late Night Vision Show. And as always, I have the executive producer of the Late Night Vision Show. That is a self-proclaimed title that he made up. Actually, I might have called him that sometime, and it went straight to his head. I'm not sure. Now he's got the little plaque on his desk. But Mr. Hans Miller, Hans from the Hans East Texas YouTube channel, what is going on tonight, sir?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've got the title, but when does the pay for the executive producer pay kick in?
Let me just say this. You've been doing such a good job. I'm going to add another 0 to the end of that paycheck. If you can ever get a 1, you're going to be rich. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Well, hey, I appreciate that. Hey, I'll take it all day long. Executive producer, self-proclaimed for the #1 rated night vision thermal hunting show on the air. Hunting podcast right here, the Late Night Vision Show. Self-proclaimed. We will take it. We'll take the title. Very unscientific study that was done. And the imaginary award was given to us, so we will take it.
Right. There you go.
We've got a great show this evening. Man, every time you say the show number 284, it just like blows my mind every time. We are creeping up on 300, and every time we get to another set of zeros, it's almost like another year, calendar year ticking off the clock. So, we are creeping up. So. Tonight we're talking about something that we talk about once a year, and I know a lot of people that listen to this show, your hog hunters, your overall night hunters in general, but coyote, predator, anything really you can hunt at night. But there's a big population of people out there, including ourselves, Jason, that like to get in and do some deer hunting when that season kicks off. And this is the greatest time of year. Fall is when everybody's starting to get back into it, whether you're hog hunting, coyote hunting, and deer hunting. It's like a hurricane, and everything's kind of swirling together in the same spot at the same time. So we get excited here, and I love doing this show. We're going to be talking about incorporating night vision and thermal optics into your deer hunting repertoire. If I said that correctly, I don't know. Is that a French word?
I cannot wait for the little automatic YouTube caption deals to put that.
Yeah, let's see how they decode that.
Exactly.
Repertoire. That just sounds weird to say. Anyway, so we want to. We're going to talk. Hey, we'll talk about it in East Texas terms. How to throw a night vision or thermal optic into your bag. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
That sounds a lot better. So we're going to be talking about that, how it works. But there is no doubt there's a growing demand. And a large percentage of people now that we talk to at Outdoor Legacy, when we're talking about optics, aren't just talking about a scope or a thermal monocular to go out and coyote hunt with or hog hunt with. They're talking about these optics to deer hunt with, to spot, to track, to big game hunt. There's a lot of uses for this. So we're going to get into that, how you can incorporate it, some of our favorite optics that we've used over the years, and some new things that have come out between the show that we did a year ago that really is exciting to see and something that we've been using and we will continue to use. But before we get into it, Jason, where can people go and get and seek help when they have questions about optics? I know you got the answer to that question.
It's so wonderful that you asked. I can't believe that you would tee me up and ask like that.
There you go.
So, all right, guys, we know that a lot of people may be watching this, and you may be our longtime listeners, watchers, subscribers, and this may be another show that you say, guys, y'all did this last year and the year before, and it's true. But this show is very timely. We want to do it every year because, number one, it's a growing portion in the night vision and thermal optic world. And I know there's still some guys listening that are confused right now. Like, you talking about shooting deer at night? No, we're not. Stick with this. I just stick with this.
100%. Yes, we are.
No. So we'll talk about that. But I know that there's guys, you do this every year, and it is true, but there's new people every year that are just starting to realize that thermal and night vision, actually day vision, daytime vision optics can help them deer hunting. So we're going to do one of these probably every year for a long time, because again, it's at the right time. There's a lot of new people still learning about what these tools can do for them. So that's number one. Number two, I want to talk about is I want to talk about the legality of this. That's something that needs to be brought up. We don't know what the laws in your state are. And if there is any laws on the books that are sometimes goofy, don't make any sense, are not based in any sort of logic, it is game hunting laws and fishing laws.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that I read, even here in Texas, which we have a pretty, liberal, open rules, a lot of the things we can do. We've got a lot of freedom, but even some of the rules that I see here, I'm like, what? Who dreamed that up? So, guys, this is the short disclaimer. You need to check the laws out in your state. And my advice is don't, and gosh, I'm going to tick off some people. Don't just ask the game warden, because sometimes, and I hate to say this, but a lot of game wardens don't necessarily know the rules and the laws concerning these optics. It's fine if you want to go ask, but even if they say no, you need to go find it in writing. Ask them to show you in writing, because I've had some guys who, in a state where it was absolutely fully legal, talk to the game warden. He goes, no way, you can't do it. Well, come to find out, he just didn't understand, because this is new. This is a newer thing in especially the last 2 or 3 years, but really the last 5 to 6 to 7. So check your game laws. There are some states so restrictive, you may not have a thermal optic in your possession while you are deer hunting during deer season, even in the broad daylight. So you just need to find out. That's all we're going to say about it. We don't want anybody out there, breaking the law and getting a ticket for it. So do your own research there. Yeah. Now, this stuff is growing in popularity because of what it will allow you to do. You can, and we're going to get into the specifics of this, but we're talking about taking scopes that you're shooting with, just full color digital scopes. You can record your hunts in 4K. You can record yourself shooting that big buck, or your kids, or maybe just a brand new hunter, somebody you're taking out there. That's a big deal. When we move on into thermal, there's the ability to spot these animals coming across a great big field, or coming through the woods, or recovery after you've shot the deer. There's nothing that just gets me more than the idea of losing a deer after you've shot it, whether it's me, or whether it's a friend, or whether it's a buddy, or it's somebody that's, just read about on the internet that shot this big buck. You just hate for that to happen. And so some of these new tools can be used and definitely help you there. Now, all right, I kind of got sidetracked. Hans kicked all this to me because he wanted me to tell you.
I was wondering when you were going to.
Well, I know, but I was looking at my notes here, and I was supposed to be introducing all this, so I was following my notes. But guys,
okay.
Here's the thing. I'm going to make this quick. If you're looking for any kind of night vision or thermal optic, whether it's for deer hunting, hog hunting, predator hunting, you might just want to turn this show off right now and give us a call, because you may say, I don't know anything about any of this, but I'm interested. I don't know where to start. You can call us at Outdoor Legacy, 877-350-1818. Again, it's 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacygear.com. I'll tell you this. You can buy this stuff anywhere. There's tons of places on the internet that have this stuff for sale. There's some brick and mortars that will have a small selection of some of this stuff. But what you're not going to get is the customer service and the knowledge and the advice that we will offer you one-on-one. That's what we're here for. Now, that may sound like, we're bragging. And if there's one thing we're going to brag about, it probably is our customer service. And just the fact that Hans, our salesman Ashley, myself, we use every single one of these optics in the field, whether it's hog hunting, coyote hunting, any other predators, deer hunting. We do it all. We use every single optic that we sell, period. If it's on our website, we've used it. That's just the way it is. And there's a whole lot of optics that are on our website. You know why? Because we used them. We didn't like them, or we've got some reason why we don't think they need to be on there. And so we want to help you. You're talking about spending $500 or $2,500 or $5,000 or $10,000 or more. You don't even want to spend $500 and not know what you're buying. I mean, that's the worst thing, is making an impulse buy and finding out it was a waste of money. So, guys, give us a call. We're glad to walk you through this process and help you make the purchase. We'd love to have your business.
Absolutely. So let's talk about night vision and incorporating night vision into your deer season and deer hunting. Now, when I say night vision, I want it to be very specific. Talking about the use of an optic that uses an IR light. So, if you see a scope and it looks like it has a flashlight off to the side of it, or comes with it, then we're talking about digital night vision. And they usually range in price anywhere from the $400 range all the way up to the $1,500 range. Now, a big advantage of something like this is it's very cost effective. You can get into night vision relatively inexpensive compared to a lot of other optics on the market, including thermal. But there's a lot of good uses for it. So we're going to talk about what the night vision is good for, how we've used it. And then at the end of the show, we're going to be talking about just a few optics that we've used in the past and that we continue to use that we really like. So first of all, the advantage, and I think you touched on this a little bit, Jason, the advantage of night vision, I would say, obviously the night vision optics now that are on the market, the vast majority of them, I think all the ones that we sell and that we promote do have a night vision mode and a daytime mode. So you can switch from, you're at night, you're using the IR light. It's got the standard night vision look to it, kind of that gray screen to it. So the night vision mode, and then you click a button and then it goes over to, and during the day, it goes over to, a full color, whether it be HD or 4K resolution image. So it's a digital image. What's great about that, I think, is being able to record your hunts. I know that's something that a lot of people are into these days, being able to share that memory and save that memory forever. I know that Jason, you and I've done it, or we've done that with our kids, but being able to capture that in the moment in a setting where you're using a digital optic to record it that has a beautiful daytime screen. And again, you can get that in a very costly or cost-effective way. So the advantage of it is, I think, is the night vision. With using that for hunting, you can record your hunts, you can play those back, you can have those forever. But also, I would say night vision is great for scouting properties. And one of the things that you can do with night vision when you're out at night, depending on where you're at, and like Jason said, the regulations, you may not be able to be out during deer season with a night vision optic. But a lot of people like to go out at night or scout their properties. And what you can do with night vision is you can go out and scout, and you can see the deer, and you can see antlers, and it's a beautiful image. You can see, almost count, depending on how good the scope is and how good the IR light is, you can count points on the antlers and just kind of see what's on your hunting lease or your property or wherever you're at, and kind of know what's in the area. Sometimes captures and cell cameras don't capture all the deer that you got running around, but going out and sitting in the stand one night and just kind of seeing what's out there. Night vision is a good tool to do that. So being able to hunt with it, scouting at night on properties to see what's on your property is great. I would say, like I said, the advantage of night vision is being able to see the antlers on buck. But the disadvantage, the big disadvantage, is that night vision is really going to be effective in areas that are wide open, clear-cut fields, not a lot of brush, no obstruction in your view. If you hunt in places like Jason does, where he hunts in log sets and in the woods all the time, night vision will, if you're trying to use it at night, that IR light will bounce off of any obstruction in your view and really white out the scope, meaning you can't see anything out of it, past the point of where that light is hitting. So you need to be in a wide open spot, wide open field if you're using it at night. During the day, obviously you can use it during the day in log sets. You're not using an IR light during the day, and it's just fine. But if you're trying to scout at night, you need to be in a wide open, fresh cut field with no obstruction in view for that IR light to really stretch out there and get to the target. So that's the advantages in this. Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think to put a wrap on that, I think the big deal you need to be thinking about here is, why do I really want a night vision? You keep calling it night vision, and I'm not hunting deer at night. Yeah. But it's what Hans was talking about there. It's being able to record your hunt with full color HD or 4K video footage during the daytime. And guys, I'm going to tell you this right now. It is a mistake if you're listening to this and say, well, that's all for them youngsters. That's what them young kids do. I'm going to tell you this. I have more guys over the age of 65 that are buying these scopes to record their hunts than I do guys under the age of 45. I mean, it is unbelievable how the older age group has just latched on to this. I mean, I've got several guys that are good longtime customers that they've bought multiple optics because it's like, oh, there's a new one. And all they're doing is deer hunting. One guy's got his wife rigged up, he's got his grandkids rigged up, and all they do not hunt anything at night. And they're buying these scopes because they love to record their hunts. They love to be able to do that. So again, that is an advantage. Some of the optics even allow, now this is a big deal if you got kids or you're taking a new hunter. Some of the optics have a Wi-Fi streaming built into them. And that's something where you can have, your smartphone here next to it. And, you basically wirelessly connect to that scope. Now you can see what the kid or what the shooter is seeing while they're seeing it. You see it on your screen,
right?
And you can see, is he putting the reticle there? Is he in the right spot? Is whatever, are they looking at the right deer? Are they on that little buck over there? Or that? And it is really, really nice when you've got a new shooter. Now, I will tell you this. Sometimes it makes you nervous because you see them shaking and then you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to miss this. This is not good. But that is another advantage of being able, I'm going to tell you something else too. And I'm going to get off of this because there's so many cool things about it. My daughter and I have sat there in the stands. Some of these optics have the ability to play back the video in the scope or to quickly download it to your phone via, again, Wi-Fi. And we have been in there where she shot a deer, and while we're kind of waiting on that thing he's ran off, we watched the video back and go, oh yeah, did you see him buckle? He's dead, and you get in that, or, and so I guess you could go the other way too. Like, I think you missed him, but we haven't had that yet. So, but anyway, really, really do like the, again, we keep saying night vision, but they're day night optics.
I'll give you a one scenario also, and then you can move on to thermal. But you talk about being able to look on your phone, via an app and Wi-Fi. So you get in a situation where a group of deer come out, and I've been in this situation with my daughter where you've got 8 or 9 deer that come out into a bait pile, and you're like, okay, shoot that one there, or shoot, the second one over. Well, kids get confused, they just don't know. But if you're looking on your phone and they've got the deer, and you can say, no, the one to the left of that, the one to the left, behind that one, that one, the one that's on. So you can see exactly where they have that reticle, because if you're out there and you can't tell and their eyes behind the scope and you're, okay, shoot the largest one. Well, kids just get super confused. They really do. You don't want them shooting the wrong one. So that's where you can really kind of be in charge, but not be in charge at the same time.
Right.
But yeah, that's, all of those are great points as far as the night vision and really, again, being able to do it and for really just to break into it for $400 or $500 that you can go out daytime hunt with, deer hunt with, and you and I, we've used the, we'll get into the brands, but the wraiths and the 4K wraiths and stuff. And we've used all those in the past and shot deer with them, and we've been able to show those and have those and save them forever. So it's been great. My daughter's, shot a deer with the Sightmark Wraith Max that we still have video of. And it's, that was a few years ago, but we've still gone back and watched it. And yeah, it's really cool. And you're right about the age thing where people are like, oh, I don't care about that. I don't want to record nothing. Well, I can't go anywhere almost in town without guys showing me videos on their phone of things that they shot. It is a different time, y'all. People want to record their hunts. It's not all about sharing it on social media and being famous. But people just like to have their hunts on their phone or show privately or friends and family. It is a really great thing to be able to do and to share that moment.
All right, let's move on. Talk about thermal here quickly. Thermal is very different when it comes to hunting. I want to be clear on something. Day hunting. We are not suggesting that you buy a thermal scope and go shoot, you know, deer or elk or whatever during the day with it. And people always ask, well, can I use it during the day? I got this question yesterday, and my answer is you can use it during the day, but you would, if given the choice between the cheapest Walmart daytime scope and the most expensive thermal optic on the market for daytime hunting, I'm going to choose the Walmart scope every single time because the reason why is thermal looks during the day exactly like it looks at night. And as cool as it is at night, during the day, that's not near as cool because I don't want to see a black and white image with the animal glowing out there and not all the detail. I want to look with my eyes or with one of these, day night scopes that's 4K resolution, full color, and I can see everything that I see with my eyes, not a black and white image with the animal glowing in a silhouette. Again, at night, amazing. Day, no. So we're not suggesting shooting with it. Now, can you? Absolutely. If you get in a bind, hey, it's the only thing I got and this big buck walks out, as long as it's legal, go for it. It's not a good experience. I don't enjoy it. My kids are the same way. They don't enjoy it. But we're going to talk about where it is beneficial to you. It's just not necessarily the shooting with it.
Thermals is great at night, but and you can use, like you said, you can use it during the day, but it's not quite as impressive as it is at night with taking it out.
But I'm going to tell you why it is impressive during the day. So thermal, as most of you I'm sure understand, it basically detects the differences in heat. Everything has a temperature. It reads temperature, if nothing else. And so hotter things are going to show up more. They're going to show brighter in your screen, whether it could be white or black, depending on what your settings are. But either way, they're going to pop out. They're going to stand out in your screen. So in its simplest form, you can ride around in your pickup or your side-by-side or your four-wheeler, and you can ride up to a corn feeder over there at 20 yards or 100 yards, and you can look and see exactly how much corn is in that feeder because that corn is warmer. And you can see that level on the side of that feeder. So it's that sensitive with a normal good thermal optic. You can see that. So in its simplest form, that's a pretty cool thing to just walk up there and not have to go climb up on your feeder and look down in there and see. You can see exactly how much corn is in there. Where I think the two big benefits for me with thermal during the day, and I will not go deer hunting without thermal. I'm telling you, I will leave my binoculars at home if I can take thermal. And here's why. Number one, I can see every deer before it comes out, before I would see it with my naked eyes, because thermal is going to pick that animal up. Just the slightest bit of that animal, if you can see it, the thermal, it's going to be glowing. So whether that's at 300 or 400 or 500, 600 yards out in the field, or whether that's in the woods or the brush, and that animal is easing its way through there. May not even be coming to us. It could be going away. It could be moving across, but I can pick that up through the brush. Now, again, thermal's not magic. It doesn't see through trees. It doesn't see through limbs or leaves, but anywhere that there is, line of sight through there, it can pick that up. So you got an animal walking through there and, let's just say you're in a white hot mode and that deer is walking behind this brush. Every time there's line of sight, it's picking that up and you can make that silhouette out and see what it is. So when I'm hunting, I've got thermal. I don't scan with binoculars because with binoculars, this, you can have a deer standing there dead still. And you can't see him. I mean, like you're looking for him with thermal. I can scan 360 degrees as quickly as I can turn. So a matter of seconds. And I can tell you definitively for 1000% sure, there is no deer or there is no live animal anywhere within eyesight. I mean, 100%. There is a 0% chance that deer is out there hiding from me in plain sight or even in partially obstructed. If he's just got his head sticking out behind that oak tree over there, I'm going to see it with the thermal. And that's unreal. I mean, we're talking about daylight conditions here. I always tell this story, and it's not just one story. It's This happened many times if you use thermal enough. But if you go out there and you're deer hunting, and this again, perfect example, I can look out there and I can see that deer. And I'm talking sometimes at 40 yards. And I see it like it's in the brush. There it is. Well, I look with my naked eye. I don't see it. I pull up my Zeiss binoculars and I don't see it. And so then I have to get the thermal on this side and it goes, that tree right there. Then I'm looking at the binoculars and I can't see it. And you go back and forth and you start thinking like, are these things lying to me? I mean, I see what looks like a deer, and you finally pick it out. And it's not always a buck. Sometimes it is, sometimes a doe. And they're just standing there. And they haven't moved. They haven't flinched in 2 minutes. And you would never have seen that until it comes on out. But here's the benefit. If you find that, I'm prepared. Now instead of, get the rifle out, get it in the well, get over. No, you're ready. Hey, there's a deer. There's a deer coming. And I mean, this is what I do when we're hunting with my daughter. Hey, there's a deer coming to the woods. Okay, get ready. Who knows what it is, but it's way different than, oh my gosh, look, there's one standing there. No, you're already on it. So the big benefit of spotting and being able to look around. Now, there's some guys right now, they're going to hear this and they're going to say, well, that just doesn't sound ethical. And it's a huge advantage. And yeah, it is a big advantage. I'm also shooting something that, is a large caliber rifle that's flying at, the speed of sound. And that's pretty, advantage too. So I'm not worried about that. I'm telling you, it's just being able to see those deer, be prepared for when they come out, or again, see that one that you may not have seen standing over there on the edge of the field. All right, next. It's another big deal. And to me, if there's any state where this is illegal, then you need to talk to the game commission or whoever is in charge of this, because this is one of the, if it is illegal to track, look for dead or wounded deer with thermal optics, that is the dumbest law on the books, and that needs to be removed. And here's why. What are we supposed to do as good hunters? We're supposed to do everything we can to recover the animal. We're supposed to, everything that's in our available that we can do is we need to go do it. Thermal is a huge advantage when looking for a dead or a wounded deer. Now, there's a couple things I'm going to get into here, and we're not going to get into, you need to buy this optic and not that optic, but I'm going to mention something here in a second. So number one, let me tell you how this works. Every year, when my daughter goes and she shoots a deer, she's got a lot of deer. Hopefully my son's going to start hunting this year. We go out and, you shoot that deer and you feel like it's broad daylight. It just seems like it's really bright. But by the time you pack everything up and you get the gun unloaded and you crawl out of the stand and you get down there, you go, it's getting dark. It's getting dark quick. And so then it's like, we got to look for blood. I mean, even though I know it's a good hit, I'm sure he's dead. We got to find blood. Where did he go in the woods? All that. And we go over there and we're looking for blood and it's getting dark and you start getting this panic of like, oh my gosh, we got to hurry. It's getting dark. And we hadn't found the blood. And almost every time I do the same thing. I go, all right, sweetie, you stand right here. And I take my thermal binocular and I walk over there to the edge of the woods where I think he went in, and I just look. And I go, oh yeah, he's laying over here. I mean, and it's just, otherwise we would have been out here on our hands and knees trying to find blood. Where do we go into the woods? And guys, if you deer hunt and you've got brush or woods, a deer can go in there. And if you don't see that white belly, if he's not laying that way, you can walk right by one. And with that thermal, he's just laying there glowing because he's got so much heat, and he or she, if it's a doe. And so that's a big advantage. And the question that I get asked, I got asked this last week. Well, if I shoot one and, maybe I'm bow hunting and I got to give this buck an hour or two because I'm a little nervous, maybe didn't make a good hit, in an hour or two, is there still going to be heat there? What if I got to come back 4 or 5 hours later? The answer is yes, there's still going to be heat there because you've got an animal that weighs 150 to 200 pounds, maybe bigger up north, and you've got all those guts in there. And even if he falls dead right after you shoot him, you just think about that. If you went over there 3 or 4 hours later, 5 hours, and you cut him open and you I'm being gross, I guess. Stick your hand in there, those guts, they're still warm. I mean, they're still warm because you've got this big mass here, and they're insulating themselves. So yeah, there's still going to be heat there. Now, you're going to go back 2 days later? Probably not. It's going to have acclimated to the ambient temperature around it. But the point is, yes, even coming back a few hours later, there's still going to be some heat there to see that animal. So a lot of benefits for that. And all right, I'm going to just roll in here because I know I'm kind of going along. I think we've already talked about the advantages. There's, all these things that I just laid out. Disadvantages, one thing you need to know is whether this is daytime or nighttime, no matter how good your optic is. Once you get back a little bit of distance, 30, 40, 50, 60 yards, you're going to have a very hard time in most conditions with most thermals seeing the antlers. And the reason is that those antlers are on top of their head, their bone, there's no blood flow once they're hard horned, and they're just sticking up there. And it's very easy for them to, they just neutralize to the ambient temperature around them. There's no blood flow, so there's no heat. The only heat they can pick up is what's coming off that animal's head. So unless you have an extremely sensitive thermal optic that can read very fine differences in temperature, you're probably not going to see those horns. Now, you get a great big buck with huge mass, you might be a little more likely to see that. But I would just say the average deer in normal conditions with just about any thermal optic that we sell, you're probably not going to see those horns. It's going to look like a doe out there. It's just, you're going to see the body, the outline glowing there, the silhouette, but not see the horns. So it's not good, again, for shooting during the daylight for that reason. If you got 2 or 3 bucks out there and you're trying to make sure you're on the right one, you're probably not going to see those horns. Then at night, if you're out there doing, maybe just like a deer census, deer count, whatever, you can see them, you can count them quick, but you're really probably not going to know bucks from does unless it's just like you see that big old swollen neck, big animal. You can go, that's a buck, but I cannot see that by the horn. So that would be a disadvantage to that. The other thing, and this is where I kind of left this out, I thought I was going to talk about it. There's a lot of thermal optics that are great for this, but there's more thermal optics that are terrible for this. And a lot of that has to do with magnification and field of view. I'm telling you guys, we're not going to get into all that here tonight. That's what you need to call and talk to us about. We can explain more. We can hear more about the terrain, because my answer is going to be different if you're hunting in Kansas where there's not a tree for a mile versus hunting in the South, or, in the North where you're hunting in big woodlots or whatever. Totally different optics that you need for different locations, terrain, hunting conditions. So again, this is not a one size fits all. These are tools, no different than you're going to use a different caliber if you're going to hunt elk versus prairie dogs. You go, well, I need a different scope probably. I'm going to need a different caliber. I mean, same thing. These are tools, and we might find you something that shoots up the middle that, can kind of maybe do both, but we got to know what you're doing to really put you into a specific optic.
Right. Yeah, good point. So let's talk a little bit, going back to night vision. Again, we're not going to spend a lot of time on these individual makes and models and all that, but just want to kind of help point you in the right direction. The best thing to do, though, is obviously to give us a call. So night vision and digital infrared night vision. Again, we said the advantage is one of the advantages is price, being able to get it into it in a relatively low price compared to some of the thermal optics on the market. So, one brand and model of scopes that we've used and we've liked and used for a long time, and our kids have hunted with them. You might have heard us mention them before. The Sightmark Wraiths. How many models of the Wraiths are there now? Like 5
There's
different?
5 Wraith models right now on the market. There's 2 HDs and 3 different 4Ks. And you should not just try to randomly pick one of those.
Yeah,
there's,
yeah. There's different
there's
magnifications.
advantages and
Yeah.
disadvantages to each of those.
Definitely
but
different
there's-
magnifications.
I mean,
but
some have Wi-Fi, some don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's better image, higher magnification, lower magnification. Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
So you got those, that we've used new this year, the AGM Neaths, which were announced. It's really hard to say that word Neath. I feel like I know not saying it right. Anyway, so that was announced at SHOT Show 2023. So last January, that came out this year. That's a great optic, and that we've used quite a bit. And I know that we'll be doing some more this deer season with it. And then you've got the Pulsar Digix C50, which is a great optic, a night vision optic from Pulsar. And all of these are day and nighttime optics, meaning daytime mode and nighttime mode. But yeah, you've got the Wraiths, you've got the AGM Neath, you've got the Pulsar Digix. And like Jason said, there's differences between all of those, but the price range is anywhere from $400 to $1,400 with a lot of details in between there.
Hans keeps saying 400, guys, and it's 500.
I don't know.
I just
500.
wanted to, he said it. They said 400 about 5 times. Like somebody's going to be upset, but yeah, $499. So there is 500 to $1,300 in this. That there's a big difference. Well, that's true. These optics have different advantages, different image quality. One of these optics is fantastic in low light. I mean, you can hunt as late as you can with no IR illumination, with full color, just like you could a really, really good daytime scope. Some of these, sun goes down and it's still legal shooting light. You're gonna have a hard time. Maybe making that shot. So there's different advantages to each of these. But again, you're looking at $500 to $1,200, $1,300, $1,400. So there's a lot of options there. There's also, again, without getting in, some are better for bolt guns, some are not. So it depends on, what kind of rifle you're going to be putting it on. Be glad to help you there. Now, moving into the thermals, there's a couple different options. Handhelds are the what we would generally recommend. Not a dedicated scope, but a handheld. Something that you would just throw in your pack. These things can be the size of a laser rangefinder to a little bit bigger. Some of them are smaller than that. Some of them fit in the palm of your hand. Prices are going to range from $1,200 up. There's some thermals that are less than that. We would not advise those to get a quality standard resolution thermal optic. You're going to be around that $1,200 right now. And again, kind of the sky's the limit. I mean, you can spend $4,000 if you want to. But right now, there's been some price drops with AGM and Pulsar in this price range. And I mean, $1,200 to $2,000 right now will get you a lot. You can even get units that have a laser rangefinder built into them, day and night capable. So for again, right now that Axion's what, $2,000, $1,999 with a laser rangefinder. So there's some pretty neat things there. Obviously, there are thermal scopes because maybe you say, well, listen, I wouldn't mind going out and doing some coyote hunting or some hog hunting, and could I take that scope off and use it with me deer hunting? Depending on the optic and the style that you buy, yes, you could. Again, that's something that we would want to know up front. Say, hey, do you want this to be a dual purpose? There are some thermal optics that are no bigger than a monocular, a handheld. And so, you could definitely dual purpose that if that's something that you want to do. Probably spend a little more money, but you need to get the right one. Again, that's where magnification and all this stuff comes into play. And I'm not even going to get into all the different models and brands. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, it's AGM and there's Infrared Outdoor and Pulsar and a lot of different models. I mean, again, with laser rangefinders, without $1,200, $3,000, whatever you want to spend. There's a lot of options there.
So let's talk about the option that I'm holding right here, the Pulsar Duo.
I was going to let you have that glory because I knew you had
I got it here.
there.
Yeah, let me talk about it.
This is the one that crosses a lot of boundaries.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Pulsar Duo here, Jason. This one is brand new for this year, and it just so happens that there is a sale on these right now. If you need to go check it out, outdoorlegacygear.com. So this is a true thermal and daytime optic with two different modes. You got a thermal mode and a daytime mode, just switching back and forth. This is something that I've been super excited about, using this deer season to be able to take out and do some daytime hunting for deer, and have it on my rifle for doing that nighttime hog and predator hunting. But on the thermal side, 640 resolution. There's two different models. There's with two different daytime magnification modes. But this one, man, the Pulsar Duos, and again, it's on sale right now. This is a fantastic unit. Looking really forward to continuing to use it. I know we've tested them, we've done the reviews on them, but hopefully we'll be showing some deer hunts with it here soon.
Yeah. So guys, the Duo, I'm going to tell you, this is a higher end optic. These are $5,000+ Okay. So these are the real deal. These have some of the best thermal image quality you're going to get at night. And it has a 4K sensor for daytime. These are legit. I mean, they are really good in the day, and they're really, really good at night as well. Yep. So this is for the guy who wants one scope to do both. I will say there is, and again, we've done reviews on them. One thing we just say for deer hunters is that once you get into the low light conditions, after sunset and that sun goes down, this is not a night vision scope. So it's just daytime and thermal. Okay, so you are going to have some issues in that last 10 minutes unless you switch over to thermal. If that's legal in your state, that's no problem. If it's not, well, then you've got a problem. You shouldn't even have it on your rifle, I'm sure, at that point. Yeah. But anyway, they're really, really great optics. I think this is the future of what we're going to see with a lot more thermal optics down the road. I don't know when that is. I don't know if that's next year or 2 or 3 years from now, but I think we're going to see more integration with day and thermal optics all in one. And those Pulsar Duos are legit.
So give us a call, 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacygear.com. You can talk to me, Jason, or Ashley. Now, we've talked about some uses, advantages, disadvantages. We've thrown out some names and models. But we really got to talk to you to be able to figure out which one's right for you, really, because, again, there's so many models, a lot of different magnification levels you're working with and applications. So, again, 877-350-1818. We've done reviews on a lot of night vision optics, on some of the thermals that we mentioned. You can check all of those out at thelatenightvision.show.com. You can find us on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, The Late Night Vision Show. And you can find Jason over on Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube at Outdoor Legacy. You can find me on YouTube, on Instagram, and on YouTube at Hans ETX. You can even find Ashley over on Instagram and Facebook at Row ETX. That's ROWE ETX, and on YouTube as well. And we are your unofficial, I guess, #1 rated night hunting podcast on the air. So thank you for joining us this week.
All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed this. Listen, we're serious. If you got questions about this, you may be thinking, I don't know enough. I mean, what you told me was helpful, but I'm still not sure. I'm just as lost as I was before. Give us a call. We're glad to help. We would love to tell you what the advantages are. And you may find out it's just what you need. You may find out it's not going to do what you want it to do. It's not quite there yet, and that's fine too. We'll be glad to give you a realistic answers to what you could expect. Guys, we hope to see you here next week and all the future upcoming episodes. We've got some more great reviews coming. We're getting into fall, again, our favorite time of year. Later this year, in about another month or so, month and a half, we're going to start doing our best of shows. And we look forward to those as well. I think you're going to want to check those out. But between now and next week, y'all stay safe in the fields and keep making those bacon pancakes.